Hello and welcome back to Learn JavaScript My Way. This is part 3, lexical structure of JavaScript. What the heck is that? Well, to just give it to you verbatim, the lexical structure of a programming language is like the basic building blocks and rules you need to follow when writing programs in that language. Well, what does that mean? It's like learning the alphabet. If you're learning English, there's there's grammar. What is grammar in English? Grammar, the whole system and structure of a language or of languages in general. So that also applies to programming languages. Punctuation, like you know, maybe not commas, or yes, commas. We definitely use a lot of commas. Um, Semicolons, colons, everything's lots of punctuation and coding, as you can see up here. This is more of an English punctuation. However, there's the semicolons, there's the commas, there's the parentheses, there's angle brackets or whatever you call it. This is HTML up here, but however, we'll stick to the JS. So we have some basic terminology down. Just like learning a talk language, we got same kind of principles apply to programming. So for JavaScript, the lexical structure covers the following. And I have a little list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 topics that we're going to just lightly touch on in the hello.html. Wow. All right. Let's look for the first one. Case sensitivity, spaces, and line breaks. JavaScript is case sensitive, which means that uppercase and lowercase letters are treated as distinct characters. So foo does not equal foo in human terms. Beat it. That's GitHub Copilot going crazy, I think. So yeah, it's case sensitive. Be aware of that. Spaces and line breaks are used to make the code more readable and organized. Yeah, we're the only ones that really care about line breaks. I'll go ahead and copy and paste my example after I Control Z the heck out of that. Control S one more time. Before I make a change, I'm just going to quickly open the source control, hit initialize repository to get a get repository going in case I muck it up. But I should do an initial commit. There's hello.html. I have nowhere to publish it right now. Anyway, back to it. Okay, get rid of what's inside the current script tags. I'm gonna F1 and format document. Control S to save. And let's just see what we get in our. We have the file open over here already. Oops. Hello world, this is a 10, this is a B33, more here. That's not what it says anymore at all. 5, 10, 10. Okay, so my variable 5. My variable with a capital M and a capital V. This one had lowercase m, lowercase v. Anyhow, second one says equals 10. Console.log, my variable with the lowercase is 5 as expected here in the console.log, which we again can open with a right click inspect and go to console tab at the top, or you can Control Shift I to open and close it if you are on at least Linux or whatever Ubuntu uses. All right, to continue, spaces and line breaks. Let's step back and have a look at my variable. So to be clear, that will error. If we reload over there, my variable is not defined, and it's saying it is on hello.html line 10, cursor placement 9, I guess. And if you click that, you can see it in the DevTools as it has ingested it. I don't know what happens if we fix it in here. I'm not sure if this will work. No, can't. Maybe if you add stuff in here, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Spaces and line breaks. Okay, I think we covered the uppercase, lowercase. That's pretty basic, but repetition works. David. So yeah, we have this final third console.log sum, which is let sum equals 1 plus 2 equals 3 plus 3 equals 6 plus 4 equals 10. And in our console, we do end with a 10. To make it more clear, we're going to say this output's 9 on the second my variable variant. So it says 5, 9, and 10. We'll change this to way down here, minus 3. Aha, it said I was going to write 5 too. So now it says 5 at the first console, or the 7 at the third console.log. Got 5 on the mine. So yeah, this whole bit here, you can add comments with the, you just need 2 of those. So yeah, that covers spaces and line breaks. Well, not spaces, because you can also just do this and it'll still work. You could jam them all together on one line right next to each other. It does not care. It's not going to like this comment if we, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to minus 3 all the way up here. Crush them all together. And they're still going to work. And even if you, I think if you do this, you know, like it'll use, what's the math thing there? Bed mass or whatever? I don't know. So you can totes do stuff like this if you're just tossing together numbers. So this should be still 7. 1 plus 2 equals 3 plus 3 equals 6 plus 1 equals 7. 14. Whoops. 17. Anyhow, enough of that. So back to here. Next thing is comments, what I kind of touched on. Comments are notes in the code that help you. Like these are some very helpful comments that you can put in the JavaScript. And I encourage you to use it a lot because personally these days I come back just a day or even hours later and I'm like, what was I doing here? Okay, so we can copy and paste this and it'll show up green thanks to VS Code anywhere within the script blocks. And when the browser renders this on the low level, it will just ignore all this and produce the code needed from all this. And again, takes out all the spaces and line breaks. And then we come to literals. Literals are fixed values in your code, like numbers or text string. For example, 42 is a numeric literal. Let's see what Google has to say on the topic of numeric literal. Whoops, I hit the wrong thingy. Search Google. Numeric literals by IBM. A numeric literal is a character string whose characters are selected from the digits 0 through 9 and a sign character plus or minus and a decimal point. Let's go back. So this is a numeric literal. I'm guessing also this is a numeric literal. This is, and I'm going to cheat and see if we can type of num output type of number. Go back here and it is a number. So when you do type of and throw type of space in front of a variable, it will tell you what type it is. And this is a numeric literal. I guess it's a number. If we put quotes around it, whether it be double quotes, I can't control the thing, whether it be double quotes, single quotes, or the template literal, they should be all strings now. String, yes. I didn't consider that you guys might not be able to see this. If that's the case, I apologize, but trust me, follow along and you'll get the same results. Okay. Let's go. That's way too big. So I showed you the difference between a number and a string. I forgot about a Boolean. And if we have a look at our Boolean up here where we're playing around with this 42, I never did illustrate that. It is the same. If I do that, if I put double quotes around it, it's still a string. Remove the quotes and it becomes a number again. All right, so what was I doing? Boolean. Let my bool equal true. Boolean literal. And I reload. Nothing happens because I didn't do anything with it. If I do a console.log type of bool under the num, then under number it should say Boolean when I reload. And it is undefined because I called it my bool. When you get undefined, it doesn't know what's going on, so you likely made a typo or the variable is not in great shape. But there we go, we corrected it. So we have let my bool equals true. This could be false, and it is still a type of bool. And I'll get rid of num console.log just so it's isolated with Boolean. And if I show you what the value of my bool is, excuse me, and you can put some quotes there. Console.log is fun to play with to understand what's going on. Do what you got to do, but there we go. My bool, that's this text right there, and then the value of my bool, which is false. Change it to true and it will be true. We can change it to 1 and 1 is true. Change it to 0 and it is false. 0, well, it's false. 0 is false. 1 is true. Where are we? Identifiers and reserved words. We're almost at the end of this number 3. Identifiers are names you give to variables, functions, and other elements in your code. And this is a this is an identifier. And let's see where we're going. There are some rules for creating identifiers, like starting with a letter, underscore, or $sign. So I'm going to just trash all of this. I'm going to trash all of this. Save. And I'm not going to do what it wants me to do there. It's my party. I'll copy and paste my code over here. I don't have it set up to format on save, and it doesn't look like it's formatting. Oops, that. All right. So valid. Even this alone, console.log, what do you call that thing? A $sign. This should equal 30. And it does. So $sign is valid. Let's control Z to get it back to my var 3 equals 30. Invalid. Well, if is reserved as if well, there was a fine example of an if that will always run, because if is true. But anyhow, this is an if block, and that's why you cannot use if as a variable name, or you will get an error. Let's try it. Reload. Uncaught syntax error. Unexpected token. Keyword if. As I said, folks, no if. How about ifs? I shouldn't have a problem with that, and it does not. If true, let x equals 50 or 40. Console.log x. It knew that we were going to have a problem. X is defined in here. So the scope, that's a whole nother bag of biscuits. But I'm going to put it up in here as just let x to just say it exists. And then down here, I'm going to say x equals 40. And then we're going to see what happens. There we have it. We have 40. We'll get into that a bit later, but this is this x here is scoped to the window. This x is scoped to this function, and it has access to the window or the global variables or whatever you want to call it. Anyhow, that's it. Don't call functions if you get errors like that. Not the reference error, but if you get errors about invalid identifiers or whatever, just have a look. Actually, if you Google, JavaScript, which I did earlier, I was looking at a list from, I can't remember where, this one, W3 Schools, JavaScript reserved words. It is very cool. Like, don't name any variables, any of these words, or you're going to have a bad time. Simple as that. Unicode. Oh, I thought this was going to be the last, but one more after this. JavaScript supports Unicode, an international standard for representing characters and symbols from many languages. Yeah, like we only recently, I guess, on the web, got access or reliable access to characters available from languages all over the world. Previously, if you're on an English system, it was very difficult to display, say, something like Japanese characters. But now we have emojis and everything. Unicode math symbol right there, a little check mark. So let's try it out. And then you should also have a look at the history, Unicode history. It's worth a read or worth a look up. And it's pretty complicated. It's not a discipline that I've become greatly involved in. Format. Okay, so I just pasted in the code from the article. There's the Japanese characters showing up. We're storing the Japanese characters in a variable called greeting, and we are console.logging it. And I'm going to add some text, greeting with a colon. And same with this guy. I'll put a comment about math symbol. And we'll go back to the file and reload. And there it is. Greeting. Looks cool. Tells us where it's coming from. Math symbol. Hello. You can emoji. Hello. Say copy and paste an emoji from the web, or even let's use that one, waving hand. I'm going to copy it, Control C to copy. We'll go on. Actually, let's try this. Let waving hand equals hello. And then we will console.log the waving hand. Nope, that's not what we want. Yes, it is. We'll say hello. So We stored the text string hello in the variable emoji waving. Then we have a console.log that should say hello and then say hello again, because this should be replaced by hello. Let's try it out. Nope, wrong one. Now it's taking a while. Illegal character. Okay, I lied. Hoping that would work, but it doesn't work that way. Wave. Hello. Wave. I just control X, I think. The emoji. Shoot. I gotta do it again. Control Z, 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 Z. Control X. Go up here, replace hello. I highlighted it all. Control V. And then here we'll do wave. Oop. Reload over here, and we got our little emoji wave. This one, which I accidentally reloaded. So that's about it for touching on Unicode, despite the little error we had. Get into it. It's really cool. Whoa. Control P and then enter got me back to my file. Optional semicolons are finally at the end. In JavaScript, you can use semicolons to separate statements like we've been doing right here. But if we get rid of them, JavaScript will figure it all out. It knows that we're on new lines, so that it knows that this is on its own and that this is on its own. So we have no more semicolons at the end of our lines, and it should still work. And it still does. That's it. You can add 17 of them if you like, and it will have no problem with it. But all right, so that's, I didn't use my little code bit here, but it doesn't matter. I showed you what I wanted to. And we have a mixture here, and it should work as well. And it does. 3, 3. C and F. C, F. Okay. That's it, folks. Next time, I don't know what's next. I'm figuring out as I go. But give me a shout out in the comments if you think I haven't covered something or would like more info. Anything. Holla.